Right. Well, I will go ahead and kick us off. And I'm sure we'll start to see more people start to join as we get the conversation going. Um, but my name's Priya Patel. I am Director of Product Marketing for Okendo, and I'm super excited to be joined by three beauty industry experts today to discuss part two of our beauty webinar series, The Secret Formula, strategies to maximize customer lifetime value and engagement for beauty brands. So just a couple of housekeeping items before I introduce my amazing panelists today. Please enter all of your questions into the chat throughout the presentation. We'll do a live Q&A at the end if we have some time. And please also just make sure to address your questions to panelists or attendees or everyone. I've often directed my question in a direct message and then we don't get to answer it. So just a heads up to make sure you're addressing it to the right people. And then also you'll receive a recording of this conversation within 24 hours. So you can reference it later on and hopefully use some of the strategies to help inform the rest of your marketing strategies at the end of the year and going into next year. So today I'm joined by three experts. We have Maddie Balderson, who is the director and co-founder of Luna Bronze based in Australia. We have Jalen Martin, who is the head of e-commerce and technology at Esmi. And we have Julia Northcraft, who is the senior director of marketing and sales at Timeless Skincare. So thank you so much to each of you for joining me today. I'm really excited to kick this off and get it started. Last week, we had some presentations from a number of partners on tips and strategies on how they think beauty brands can, kind of maximize that growth in CLTV. So excited to hear from you guys who are part of these beauty brands and can really give some hands-on strategies and tips. So thanks again for joining today. So just to zoom out for a second, when we think about the D2C industry, we think about the beauty industry, trends are changing so rapidly. So at a high level, how do you guys keep your customers engaged, keep them interacting with your brand, driving those repeat purchases, and ultimately maximizing lifetime value? You can go ahead and get started with you, Julia, if that sounds good.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Nice to be here. So in terms of maximizing customer lifetime value, we really try to personalize the overall customer experience as much as possible. So we do that in a couple of ways. We offer product and routine recommendations. So free consultations through our team of licensed estheticians where customers can jump on a call and our team can assess their needs. So they get that personalized touch through our licensed esthetician team. We have a comprehensive custom built quiz on our website, which gives them the product recommendations without having to jump into that call if they don't want to. Of course, not as personalized, but an option. We guarantee happiness for 60 days. So basically, you love it or it's on us. Incentivize customers, repeat customers to try new products that they haven't, knowing that it's risk-free. And then we really focus on our customer support. We offer free returns for the majority of our customers. Our team is US-based, which is where the majority of our customer base is. And people can actually jump on a call with them and resolve their issues outside of our promo dates. And then, of course, through our loyalty program, we try to incentivize customers coming back, giving them a little reward for every purchase.
Nice. It kind of sounds like a multi-pronged approach to your strategies. You're, engaging with your customers throughout the entire shopping journey through quizzes, through loyalty, through, customer service, making sure that you're there with them along the entire journey. So that's great. How about you, Maddie?
Yeah, so Luna Bronze, we've sort of been building out our loyalty program with Okendo for nearly coming on a year now. So that's really been a big piece of us for driving that customer loyalty and driving back those repeat purchases, to sort of walk it back to a more like simple stage as well is like customer support's always been super important, but getting to know our customers, asking them questions. We open up a very social dialogue with our customers on our social channels, and part of that is getting to know where our customers are living online, what they like, what they don't like, and just trying to create more of a two-way street in terms of our dialogue with our customers and getting to know them better.
Nice. So having this sort of conversation going so you can kind of meet them where they are and keep a pulse on a continuous basis to create the experiences they
A
want.
bit more personal.
Yep. Personal, creating those meaningful experiences for them. Yeah. Cool. How about you, Jalen, at Esmi?
Yeah, at Esme, it's a lot about providing value to the customer wherever possible. So for us, we're laser focused on providing exceptional customer care. We actually have this big neon sign in our boardroom that just says exceptional customer care. And that's what we are fully focused on. So that's through our customer care team. But also similar to Julia, we have a unique and specialized skin service team. So they're fully qualified beauty therapists, and they're available 7 days a week at no cost at all to the customer. They can reach out either through live chat or email, however they want to respond, even through our socials. They're through there as well. And they're there to help our customers through their whole skin journey, through year to year, season to season, can even be week to week. 1 week, it can be like, hey, I'm using this product, but I'm seeing this, maybe it's a seasonal change. And then our skin service team can kind of say, hey, let's remove that product for a period of time and see how it goes, or maybe add this product into your routine, or sort of change the routine up, because it does change completely season to season. And then as well as providing value through our rewards program, our Glow Getter Club loyalty program. So the compelling rewards there, whether it's using points to get dollar discounts on future purchases, free shipping, we do birthday gifts and other exclusive perks. So yeah, it's really about providing value to our customer as much as possible.
Yeah, I love that. I love that there's this like on-call team of experts who are there for your customers, whatever sort of advice they need or help that they need with your products. And then everyone has mentioned loyalty, so I definitely want to I want to avoid saying double click, but I'll say double click on that in just a moment. But before we dive into loyalty, would love to hear, about the beauty influencer space, right? So you guys are in the beauty industry. It's such a visual industry, and user generated content and reviews are such a, sort of like tried and true way, of course, to build that trust through high impact social proof. How are you guys using that user generated content and reviews throughout your customer marketing strategies today in a world that is now so beauty influencer heavy at this point? Maybe Jalen, if you want to start.
Yeah, sure. Reviews and user generated content is just a must have, both sides of it. As a brand, we can try so much through so many marketing channels to try and convey to our customers or potential customers that we're trustworthy, our products are high quality, that they'll see real results. And it just doesn't get as much of the breakthrough compared to when you look at reviews and user generated content, possibly from customers. They're posting before and after photos, or other photos that have come through our reviews module, or videos as well that they post, testimonials. It just is so much more effective than our own marketing that we can do. And as I said, especially those before and after photos for beauty brands, you can sort of have those across your site. We also, we have that little block on our homepage showing the before and after shots. We try and integrate it into our collection pages, into our product pages, kind of as many places as you can sort of use it. It's just such great social proofing and helps to build that trust directly from a customer, rather than kind of us trying to say, yeah, we're trustworthy. The customers can speak so much louder than we can, for sure.
Yeah. The impact of real reviews and feedback and seeing the before and after photos, to your point, it does wonders in terms of like okay, that worked for them. I want to try, I want to see if it'll work for me too. How about you, Julia?
Yes, exactly what Jalen said. Is it's so important. It's such a powerful social proof tool to go out finding new customers, having that backing behind you that you have X amount of people that tried the product, not only tried it and loved it, but loved it enough to leave a review. Hopefully, the majority of your reviews are positive, of course. But yes, we try to incorporate those numbers into as many strategic touch points as we can. And to Jalen's point, they're just so much more effective than us as a brand coming and saying, our product is great, it works amazing. A customer saying that just have so much more meaning. And we've seen we see daily how important it is and how it drives business through our paid ads. So we were actually able to test the effectiveness of reviews. So yes, super powerful tool. We, like Jalen was saying, use it everywhere we can to convey that message.
Yeah, throughout the entire journey. How about you, Maddie?
Yeah, I think exactly. I mean, just to echo both of you guys, but yeah, reviews for us, they are one of the most effective form of content that we can use in paid ads. But even just that authentic voice of the customer and the way that the customer puts the way they feel about your product, the words that they're using, we can shape our own copy and our own ad creative, like our ad captions, using the words that our customers are using. So like we can come up with all sorts of copy and ad formats and ad creative, but if we're using the way that our customers actually speak, we find that really resonates so much better.
So, yeah, I want to kind of dig into, you had mentioned like authenticity, staying authentic, using that copy, that creative, that, your actual community is using in real time as well through reviews, etc. Um, you're using that throughout your social media strategy. Are you using that to sort of offset the beauty influencer market and the beauty world and the beauty industry as well? Or are you sort of coupling it with the beauty influencer space? Like, how are you sort of balancing those two?
We just historically and from day one, we've never really heavily relied on influencers. We've sort of dabbled in them here and there. The influencers that we tend to work with, more often than not, have actually purchased our product first, talked about it online, we've found them, we've created a relationship with them, and then we've grown from there. And now there's like it's like sort of small handful, I could probably count them on one hand, of influencers who, but they have found our product in one way, shape, or another before we sort of reached out to them to work with them on a paid basis. So yeah, I think we've always had that element of trustworthiness between the people that we're working with, but then we also have always really favored working with people who are just regular creators, like literally every walk of life, people that our community really resonates with and relates to. So I think having that mix is really important. Influencers are great to get that really big reach, but if you can sort of do it strategically enough and partner with ones that are they're already loving your product, I think your customer base is going to respond to that so much better.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like what everybody's been saying here. It's like, let's tap into our existing customer base. Those are, Okendo likes to call them your super fans. They're really the people who are going to generate the most conversation and trust, even more so than the bigger beauty influencers. How about you guys, Jalen and Julia? Are you guys kind of balancing that between, UGC content, bringing that through your social media, social media. Well, yeah, social media and other marketing channels too? Or are you finding that you lean more towards existing customers, and social proof there versus influencers?
Yeah, for us, to Mari's point, I think that's such a great approach, and that's the approach that we use as well. We don't work heavily with influencers. We're very select, and the people that we do work with, we find that having that trustworthiness to the customer means that the influencer is truly loving your product. Like Mari said, the people that we work with typically have already purchased the product, they've used it, they've talked about it, so we stumble upon them. They already have that relationship with our product. And so those are the people that we choose to work with. Anybody else that we work with, a creator or a different influencer, we really try to emphasize that we need them to use the product for a prolonged time and give us their true feedback. And I think creating content like that is much more authentic, and the customer can relate to that much better than a traditional paid campaign, which that has its use as well, but that's the approach we use with influencers and UGC. And then on the review side, the new FTC regulations, which now are driving us to disclaim that a review is incentivized. That's another thing that we're grateful that Okendo creates such a seamless experience for that notification to be added to those reviews.
Yes, would love to dig into that a little bit more if you guys are open to it. How do you think those new regulations are going to affect consumer trust? Do you think it will have any effect on consumer trust, being that you have to show now that they're incentivized, if they are? Who wants to dive in first?
I don't think, like, if I put my consumer hat on for a minute there, I think to myself, I already know that by me leaving a review, whether it be a 1-star or a 5-star review, that I'm probably going to get, compensated for my time by a brand. So I don't feel like having that incentivized flag really will impact trust. That's me in a consumer world, but I do wonder, is that me with my business founder hat on, and sort of like knowing, what goes into collecting reviews. Personally, I don't think it will have any negative impact. I feel like people know. We're not asking for everyone to leave us a 5-star review. We're asking them to let us know your thoughts so that we can take it and learn from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So more of just like the regulations, more of just like a checkbox to have, but not that it'll actually deter a consumer or a shopper whenever they're reading the high volume of reviews that you guys have.
Mm.
I really hope Maddie is correct. And I really hope that customers do not see it a different way. I do think consumer trust may be affected initially, but ultimately I think it will take the same trajectory we saw with UGC, where in the beginning it was truly original, it was non-incentivized, it was just true product feedback. Customer would just pop in on social with no fancy equipment and just talk about their experience with your product, and it turned into a incentivized collaboration, whether it's monetary or gifted. It's still a different type of UGC now today. So I think consumers know that in a way, and if not everybody knows that, the majority I think know that there's something behind that content. So I think the reviews will follow. So originally they may be a little bit off-put, but they will understand that the incentive that we give, it's not anything crazy. It's like a $5, $10 coupon on their next purchase. And like Maddie was saying, we're not telling them what review to give us. It's just true, honest feedback.
Yeah. It's more about sharing your thoughts than getting that, 10% off or something like that. It's more about we be honest, help us, tell our shoppers, what they need to know about the product. Jalen, do you have anything to add there?
Yeah, I just agree with Julia there. I think initially it'll be a bit confusing for the customer, but them not actually realizing that probably a majority of the reviews across most brands are actually technically incentivized because we do that. We provide that dollar off or percentage off code for their review. I'd be surprised looking at the numbers if that was a low percentage. I'd say it's probably a pretty high percentage that most of them are incentivized, until customers kind of pick up on that and realize that. I think maybe then that'll adjust, but maybe at first there'll be some confusion and trying to understand what does an incentivized review mean from a customer's perspective. Yeah, there might be a bit of confusion there.
Yeah, and I wonder if that begs the question around, content and education around, when that does become more of a thing, like helping consumers understand what it is, from a beauty brand perspective, in order to, retain your customers, maintain the growth, and, still make sure that lifetime value is being extended going into next year after, I think they were saying as soon as like October timeframe or something like that, the FTC. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Just shifting gears a little bit. You guys all have mentioned personalization, personalizing the experience. When it comes to personalization, a lot of that is tailored around zero-party data or first-party data, which can often feel super overwhelming for brands in general, especially, if you're a founder, you're, head of e-commerce, you're in sales marketing, you have a ton of stuff going on. Can you share some of the ways that you guys analyze the data that you have in order to personalize the experience? How do you guys leverage it in order to create personal experiences? Maybe Maddie or Jalen, if you want to start.
I'll let Jalen take this one. I think we're sort of just scratching the surface here.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, I think utilizing the zero-party data, we use it to create customer segments, so we can send the personalized emails and personalized comms to the customer. And I think that is important, but I'd just probably caution, depending on the size of your brand, how far you dial up that personalization piece, because it can kind of be like a rabbit hole that you run down to try and get the maximum personalization, but it's actually you're not getting the returns for that. Where I think if you take a step back and rather looking at using personalization on the front end as much for the customer, take the first step of using that data to understand the customer better, which will allow you to make better marketing decisions. So you may find that a large portion of your customer database, if you're using sort of surveys or product quizzes and that to get that data, you may find that they have specific skin concerns or skin types. A large portion of it may have a specific skin type. So then you can make marketing decisions to, hey, let's leverage that and use that data to adjust our comms or our content or educational pieces towards that, rather than trying to be like, okay, let's use that to this segment and then to the dry skin and then to the anti-aging. Maybe it's, depending on your size, it's like, okay, we're going to get a better return if we just purely focus on hydration or dry skin. So let's put a big focus on that, because we know that we're going to be more relevant to a larger size or part of our database. That's how we effectively use it, and trying to be mindful of the resources we have available to us and not stretching them too much. But using that data, I guess, to be more effective and get a better return as well.
Got it. So kind of zooming out, like zooming out to zoom into zoom out. It's like not going so deep or so granular, but still using the data to inform, who you kind of focus on there. Anything to add there, Julia?
Yeah, I think Jalen had a very good point. The zooming out approach, it can get, with segmentation, it can get overcomplicated very quickly when you have 10, 15, 20 different flows live. And avoiding spamming the customer is it's so important to us. We use segmentation. Besides what Jalen was explaining, we also make sure we follow all the new rules about deliverability and making sure we maintain a healthy level of deliverability. And what I was saying, just trying not to being spammy, making sure we provide valuable information when we send out an email, and it's not just here's our product, buy it, like our product. So we really try to be mindful of that. So that's one of the ways we utilize our zero-party data.
Great. Yeah. Don't be spammy. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna add, besides that, it's a great tool to use for product innovation as well, knowing what your customers, where your customers lie in terms of skin type and conditions and concerns. So
even outside of personalizing the communication, being able to understand for product innovation, or where you guys might want to direct your efforts or inform efforts when it comes to product development. I like that you're kind of taking that two-pronged approach, both externally and internally, to help inform strategies too. That makes sense. Okay. So we've talked a bit about personalization. We've talked about the FTC regulations. All of us have mentioned, or all of you have mentioned, loyalty programs. Um, what are some of the key elements that you guys think about when it comes to building out a successful loyalty program? Just ensuring, of course, that it keeps your customers engaged, keeps delivering value, and ultimately drives those repeat purchases. So, Maddie, do you want to start?
Yeah. So we launched our Okendo loyalty program earlier this year. It could have even been the end of last year. It's a blur. But we're sort of launching ours in stages. But one of the things that we have found really interesting this year was that we've done a couple of product launches and we've done a couple of sale launches where we've opened up exclusive early access to our loyalty program members sort of 24, 48 hours prior to opening it up to the rest of our database. And the uptake on that, I was, very interested to see when we did the first one, but the uptake on that has been incredible. So it's really showing that the people who are enrolling into your loyalty program, they actually are really dialed in to your brand and they want to hear from you. And they're super fans. So we call them VIBs, very important bronzes. So I think that's something that's really worked well for us, and it's sort of shown us that it's not even just like your dollar offs, your percentages offs, your free shipping. It's just offering them simple things like that are really simple to execute on, that they respond to. So it's these sort of tangible rewards that customers actually want from you, and they really help to drive revenue and repeat purchases. So that's been awesome for us this year.
Yeah, like you kind of thought maybe that, oh, people are just signing up for the loyalty program just to sign up, but people are actually engaging, as you're saying. I think it was towards the end of last year that you guys had launched with us. So I remember, and I love that you've done sort of this iterative rollout or phased approach to your loyalty program to get the data.
Tiers launching hopefully in a few weeks' time, which is it's sort of the next step. And but it's been a great sort of rollout for us. We're taking it slowly. We're quite a small team, but we've sort of got that proof that the people who are enrolling in that loyalty program, they're dialed in. They want to hear from us, and they want these rewards, and they want these perks. So they've sort of shaped these rewards and offers that we'll give to them in our loyalty program more. So it's not just like how much more percentages or dollars can we give these, or free gifts. Are there experiences, are there offline events that we can do? Can we have these people perhaps be like first testers of new products in the future? So it's those sort of, I guess, they're not like sort of dollar value, but they're experiences that people want.
Yeah, it's creating those meaningful experiences as part of also the dollar value. So it's more than just a percentage off. I like that. Jalen, how about you? Any thoughts on successful loyalty programs?
Yeah, I think the first thing you need to do is know your numbers, know your gross profit, know your margins, because then you can use that to dial up or dial down your rewards program. And that'll help you create one that can scale sustainably. You got to strike that balance between, not being too generous in it, but not being too stingy as well. You want to find that perfect balance that's right for your brand. It's not sort of a one size fits all with this. You need to know your numbers to really make that beneficial and be able to know how much value you can provide to the customer to get them to repeat purchase from you. So, I mean, for us, it's simply providing rewards, exclusive perks that get better as they progress through the tiers. But you need to provide that value to them to get them to repurchase, or to increase the propensity for them to repeat their purchase. I mean, the numbers don't lie there. Without a rewards program, you'll definitely notice the AOV will drop, the repeat purchase rate drops. When you put that rewards program in, you'll see those numbers increase, and you can segment it and see it quite clearly, the difference between someone that's a part of your rewards program, your loyalty program, and someone that's not. The numbers don't lie there. So it's definitely something that you should have if it suits your brand. Again, go back to your brand and what you do. But definitely knowing your numbers is extremely important. Get that right first. I think it will then create one that's definitely can scale over time and provide that value to the customer.
Yeah, to your point, every brand is so different. So Maddie's numbers obviously are going to be super different from your numbers, and Julia's. It's like that upfront work. And I think like connecting the dots between both of your, answers or, ideas there is that it's that upfront work to really dive into the numbers and create a program, set one up that matters. And then Maddie creating those experiences iteratively that keep your customer community engaged and wanting to experience more with your brand on a long-term basis. So it's not just like a set it and forget it. I think a lot of people go into loyalty maybe thinking that, but it takes a lot of strategic thought and effort. How about you, Julia? Do you have any thoughts on loyalty tactics and strategies?
Yeah, to echo both mine and Jalen and what you just said, setting it up and forgetting it, that's where we're kind of at right now to dive into. We're doing a little bit of data diving to tweak and optimize our program. So that's really important, knowing your numbers, like Jalen said, and seeing if there is incremental value you can offer with your program. And for us, it's also another way. I'm sure a lot of us customers can find our products not only on our site, but other retailers, both brick and mortar and online. So perhaps the loyalty program is another way for customers to purchase directly from your store. So having that experience for them and that extra incentive, and just making sure, making them feel they're part of something, they're being rewarded for every little interaction with your brand, every little purchase. It's important. It definitely builds loyalty.
Agree. Even I know, Maddie, you guys named your loyalty program. It's like, or part of the copy was like join the Bronze Squad. It's like you feel like you're part of something bigger than just a loyalty program, to Julia's point. Cool. So kind of just shifting gears a little bit here. You guys are experts in the beauty space, within your brands and in the industry in general. If we think about emerging beauty brands today, who are looking to really create that engaged customer community and, retain them through experiences and personalization and, making sure that they're happy whenever there's just so many additional brands and new products popping up, what advice would you give to those up and coming beauty brands?
If I could go back to day one and start again, I would definitely be a lot more transparent and take my customers or my audience, my followers, my social network through like the journey of building our brand. When we first started, 9 years ago, it was all very like sort of smoke and mirrors. Like I think all the brands were sort of starting out trying to look like they were this like super established brand that knew it all. And, when in reality, if you pulled back the curtain, we were just, two girls, and as our team grew, like we're just sort of working things out. And I think if we took our audience along for the ride, in the last sort of 2 years, we've really started doing that, and sort of we've opened up that dialogue. We've created a broadcast channel on Instagram called the Bronze Squad, which is designed to be an extension of our loyalty program. It's where we can sort of have that dialogue. And myself and my co-founder, we actually speak from our own accounts, our own personal account into that channel there. So I think, letting people see that it's not all sunshine and daisies all the time. I think bringing people along for the ride and being transparent and letting them get to know you is a huge way to grow a beauty brand in this day and age.
Yeah, talking about authentic connection there, being real with who you are as a brand helps consumers connect so much more naturally. So I love that. I love that you guys started out a certain way with your brand, and then a couple of years ago we're like, we need to pull back the curtains. We need to just show what's up.
It was exhausting. I think we're just sort of going, this isn't us. And let's just like let people see what we're really like. And to be honest, like we feel like we can talk to the brand in such a more honest way. It's like the brand Luna Bronze now feels like the way that we talk normally, and so it doesn't feel like as much of a sort of alien being away from us. So yeah, it's been one of the best things we've done.
Love that. Be real. I like that advice. Jalen, how about you?
I think it'd be to find and know your USP, what makes your brand unique compared to every other brand in the market. If you can find that and then lean in that, leverage that, push into that as much as possible, and then through that provide value to your customers at as many touch points as possible, I think that will build a very loyal customer base for you. So yeah, what is that USP? As I said, for us, it's our skin service team, the qualified beauty therapists, and we just push into that as much as possible. And our customers love that. It's a lot of the times the first sort of point or touch point for them is talking to one of our skin service team members, and then straight away they're kind of introduced into the brand and they get off on the right foot from the get-go. So yeah, what is that USP, and just really push into that as much as possible.
Yeah, and then it can probably, I'm sure it iterates over time a little bit, right? Like you find your grounding in a certain place, and then as you're growing as a brand, you learn more and more. You have that unique selling point, and then you just, it can evolve over time too, I imagine. Um, Julia, how about you?
Yes, to Jalen's point, I think really defining your unique value proposition and repeating that over and over again, whether that is in your customer communications, your creatives, your website, I think it's really important in such an oversaturated market that we're in. So that goes hand in hand with my number one advice would be making sure you provide true quality with your products. There's just so many products out there that just simply slap a label on a product that they don't even manufacture and call it a day. And that's great. Some brands are really able to leverage that. Their branding is amazing, their communication is amazing, they're maybe backed by a very big company, but customers really, what they truly care is efficacy at the end of the day, and that shows whether that is with the first purchase, second purchase. So efficacy is what will bring customers back. Communicating your unique value proposition is what will bring them in, hopefully.
Nice. I like it. It's a full circle there, or I guess it's more of like an infinity. You want to keep it going over time. But awesome. Thank you so much for those tips. And then as we kind of wrap it up here, just a couple more questions. What are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned this year? And how do you kind of plan to incorporate those learnings going into next year to sort of maximize growth? You want to start with Jalen first?
Yeah, probably the same point I just mentioned around the what makes you unique, your USP, especially now. I know in Australia and globally, in a lot of markets and regions, the economic conditions are a lot tougher. There's a lot lower consumer sentiment. So because of those headwinds, if you're leaning into your USPs, that builds that moat around you that will protect your brand and keep your customers loyal. So for us, yeah, we're pushing into that more. We've personally, I've learned that more myself this year, and so for next year, I want to push into that more with our skin service team and our customer care, and sort of preaching that as far and as wide as possible across our website, across the socials, across our marketing, other marketing channels, about our skin service team, and that they're there to help our customers at no cost to them, whenever the customer needs it. Just if it's 1 week that they've spoken to the skin service team, and then the next week they're like, oh, I'm not sure about that, can I try something different? It's kind of like pitching that to the customer that they are there all the time for them to help them along the way. So yeah, that's probably been the biggest lesson for me around our brand and pushing into our brand, what makes our brand unique, and really leveraging that more next year.
Yep. Consistency too. You figure out what it is and you can keep homing in on it as you through your communications, your education, your content, etc. How about you, Julia?
For me, one of the biggest lessons is that AI is here to stay. So just how to get on board and learn it and figure out the best tools to use for our team to help cut down on those times on projects, and making sure it's helping us be more efficient, especially for lean teams. That's just going to be a game changer. So just finding out what tools are useful for your brand, that's going to be really important. We're definitely utilizing this a lot next year. So that would be my biggest focus. And then also with AI driving paid, So a lot of our campaigns now are really being driven. The data is driven by AI. So I think our role is shifting a little bit now to more content focused. So really focusing on that content and making sure that it's ideal, it's educational, it's valuable for our customers. Those are our two biggest lessons for 24.
That's big too. I feel like, AI could be a discussion in and of itself, particularly when it comes to connection and personalization, and then, balancing that with AI driving your content or your page strategy. It's, still wanting to keep it so personal and meaningful. So I'd be interested to come back together with you next year and hear more about sort of how that's going for you guys and any tips you have there for beauty brands too. Maddie, how about you? Lessons that you learned this year and how you're going to bring them into next year?
Yeah, biggest lesson that we learned this year, at the beginning of this year, was really that my co-founder and I, we've come to the realization that, there's nobody else out there that you can hire, that you can pay, that you can have as freelance or whatever, that is going to know your business as well as you do. So I think really just coming to terms with that, you've got to be involved in all areas of your business and take control and responsibility for those outcomes in every aspect of the business. We're a small team, and just sort of exactly what Jalen and Julia have said. Like, we've all got to operate lean. We can't keep sort of paying everybody to do. We've got to roll up our sleeves and do as much as we can. And so I think definitely consolidating as much as possible where it makes sense to have a consolidated tech stack. Okendo is perfect for us for that. We've got loyalty, we've got quizzes, we've got reviews in it. It's taking out complexity and just trying to keep things simple where you can, so you can stay lean for as long as possible.
Love it. Do more with less. Wear a lot of hats and,
Yes.
keep everything streamlined, simplify as much as possible. Agree. That was part of we were so excited. That was part of the biggest value prop of having everything in one place, 5 products to help brands like yourself and, others out there who want to streamline everything to bring it in-house and make everything more efficient. So thank you so much for those insights. And thank you to Jalen and Julia as well. Let's see if we have any questions. Looks like this is a request for the recording. We will definitely give the recording. And then, yep, another request for the recording. Okay, so I think that's it in terms of Q&A. It was an easy one for all of us today. Any last thoughts from any of you before we hop off? I think that's it.
I hope Q4 goes well for everyone, and I hope you keep your sanity in the next few months.
Yes, good luck.
Black Friday, Cyber Monday. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate your time. As mentioned, you'll receive a recording of this after the webinar ends within the next 24 hours. So by tomorrow. And as always, thanks again. Looking forward to catching up with you guys soon.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank
Have
you.
a good one.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.